Surprise.
Here we go. Exactly. Surprise. We are doing episode 13 on Thursday.
Because I had a day off of work.
Because you had a day off of work, and I finished work a little bit early. Yeah, exactly. We've been talking about this before, where when we have guests on, it's kind of like weird to start trying to talk about the topics that we have with the guests that might not be like talking, you know, like, or just like knowledgeable about the same random YouTube news or whatever that we're keeping up with. So we still want to talk about our topics because they're really relevant to us because we talk about them all week. And then, but we also want to have like a guest on like every week. So we're starting to decide that if we have the time, if we can like squeeze it in, we're gonna try to do two episodes a week now. So one's gonna be Rylee and I talking about our topics that we have listed, and then the other one's gonna be with our guests, and like we just talk about our guests like mainly and stuff like that.
Plus, I want to know about our guests,
exactly.
like that we have on, you know.
No, it's not like gonna be like an interview, but it's just like I feel like whenever you have guests on, it's more like about knowing them better,
and
you know,
like getting their stories.
Exactly, getting their stories, talking exactly, you know, like. Look at the Steve-O podcast. It's like it's all about their stories from the past and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I want it to be too.
Also, I wanted to ask you, do we have the patrons' names?
Oh my God, I was gonna fucking do that. I'm gonna later on when we're in the middle of the podcast. I'm gonna actually hold on. Let me just try to do that right now. I don't want to like there to be any delay, but I was gonna say that this episode is dedicated to all of our Patreons. 100%. I don't know if they want me to say their names out loud or not. Hold on. Let me see if it'll even show us their freaking name. But huge shout out to every single person who joined our Patreon.
And we're gonna like start
sending everything
dedicated to our Patreon.
Yes, exactly. We already dedicated, but we just haven't sent out any of the stuff.
Sent out the stuff
exactly.
Yet,
but this is going to be a part of our promise where we said we're going to do a podcast, but only one person has joined the level that adds a additional podcast, but I don't want just that one person to see it, so this is dedicated to that person and everyone else who joined it.
We love you, and we want to say your name.
There's no way I can't check it right now. I have to go to my computer, which would just require too much time. So
on Sunday, when we do our show on Sunday, we will tell. We will say your name.
We will shout out all the Patreons.
Yes.
And also, this is something I only wrote down in the Patreon and I haven't talked about it, but once we reach a Patreon goal of $500, it doesn't matter how long it takes, but once we reach $500 on our Patreon, and it accumulates, I think, over time, it doesn't reset or anything, we will do a 24-hour stream with not just me, but Rylee and I.
In a tent.
Why in a tent?
Because it's tent talks.
Oh my God.
And we have to do like Bear Grylls like survival.
I feel like it doesn't have to be in a tent, but it should.
I feel like we should sleep in a tent.
I'm down. Yeah, we should sleep in a tent, but it should be a survival thing.
It could be in our living room, but we're gonna be in a tent.
No, we should find a park with service where we could sleep overnight. Oh, that'd be scary though.
If we could find a camping area, that'd be cool.
If someone finds out where we're camping, they can fuck with us in the middle of the night and pretend to be a bear.
We'll keep it low key. We'll keep it low key.
Oh my God! What if someone tries to?
We should invite Lucha and Peach though.
Yeah, I want more people there. I don't want someone to tickle me in the middle of the night or like touch me or something like that. That'd be weird.
Tickle you?
Yeah.
Nobody's tickling you.
You tickle me. Okay.
So, anyways.
You never told me, what were the topics you had written down? Let's get into your topics first.
Okay, so Giselle already called it out.
What?
Because she reminded me.
She
said nobody's forgetting about the tampon story.
Yes!
So I feel like I should just say it. But I'm just going to do a warning in the beginning that it's going to be talking about...
Yes, this is something...
things that might make your stomach...
Turn. And this is the main reason why we did not want to talk about it, because this is something that no one really wants to talk about. So you don't have, it's very TMI. But so if you don't Adam talked about it on the, and also before Adam talked about it on the Jumper Show,
he kept it low key.
I told Adam the story because obviously he's my boss.
And I said that it was okay for you to say it.
Yeah, and you told me it was okay to say
it.
And I had to explain why I was late. I was just gonna tell them like, oh, something happened with Rylee. She'll tell you if she wants, but something happened with Rylee.
But I was like laughing after like the whole situation happened. I was like, I can't wait for Josh to hear why you're late.
Yeah.
So I gave Yuriy the okay to say it.
Well, let me just tell my perspective of the beginning of the morning first.
Let me tell
and then you'll get into it. But can I just say that every morning, Rylee wakes up before me, and then I stay in bed all comfy, and I chill for like another hour because Rylee takes forever to get ready, and I'll just be chilling in bed or whatever. And then this morning, like every morning, Rylee gets out of bed, goes to the bathroom, and I'm just chilling in bed. And then all of a sudden, like I already fall asleep again, and then Rylee like wakes me up. She's like, "Oh my God, Yuriy, I'm gonna die! I'm dying right now!" And I'm just like, what the fuck? I'm like waking up, tripping out, like what's going on? And then she's explaining to me that this thing happened where she
okay, let me explain my side of the story.
Don't be too detailed though, just for the people who don't want to hear too much.
I'm just going to say that it was the beginning of my menstrual cycle.
Okay.
My time of the month.
Oh, this feels too TMI already.
Whatever. My period. Fuck it. Anyways, so the night prior, I had put a tampon in. Trigger warning. Sorry, guys. And I went to sleep, and I woke up at like 5 minutes before my alarm for work in a fright because I was like, oh my God, I fell asleep with my tampon in. I'm scared that I was gonna like oversleep and like get toxic shock syndrome, which is like a thing.
Yeah,
I woke up in a sweat.
Wait. I didn't know about this, but for all the guys out there, if you keep a tampon in for too long, it can make you die. Like it builds up this like toxic shit in your body that makes you die. Basically, I didn't know about this. I don't even know anything about this shit. And then she explained this to me in the morning, like I'm dying because of this. And I'm like, what the fuck? Okay.
So, anyways, I woke up like at 6:45 in the morning, and I was like, oh my God. Like I like went to go take my tampon out, and I was like trying to pull on it, and it would not come out. And I was like, oh my God, I have a tampon stuck inside of me. Like I'm gonna fucking die. Like the string is not helping me.
Can I just say that Rylee was not like, oh my God, Yuriy, I'm gonna die. She was like,
I was like, I only have 2 hours to live.
She was hysterically crying, telling me like, I'm gonna die right now. And I'm just like telling her, like, to be honest.
No, I told him I only have 2 hours to live.
Yeah, you said I only have 2 hours to live, and we're already at the TMI point. I was telling Rylee, I was like, relax, just fucking relax. I was like, lay down on your back. I'll dig in there and look for it. And she was so in his like a hysteric mood that like I could not calm her down. Right?
I was like, no, I need medical attention. I don't even want to try this right now. Like, I'm at this point where I just need to go see a fucking doctor.
We both have to go to work, and
I know.
And this is like in my head, it's like people always think that the doctor will fix everything, but it's like a lot of things are just plain and simple. Something's stuck, you got to take it out.
And then when we get to the point of where we get to the emergency room, we're gonna tell people how crazy it is when you have a fucking emergency.
Wait, this happens at 7 a.m. I text Josh. I'm like, hey, Josh, I'm going to be late to work today.
I text my boss.
Or I might not even be able to come in because Rylee's having an emergency. Josh is like, what happened? Is she okay? Did the cat attack her? Because we just got a new cat. And I was like, no, the cat didn't attack her. I can't tell you what happened, but she's in trouble and we're going to go figure it out. And that's all I said. And I said, I'm going to be late for sure.
So we're like trying to figure out because we don't have insurance and stuff. But I do have Kaiser, and I'm still on like my Kaiser plan. But I only have it in Northern California, and like it's a different system in Southern California.
I already told you that it does not make a difference, but you found out it doesn't.
But it is like you still do have to register and stuff.
Oh yeah, as this other
Southern California.
Yeah, exactly.
So we end up driving to Kaiser. And I explained my story to the like front lady. I'm like, I have a tampon stuck in me.
And in my head, the way Rylee explained it to me is like, I have 2 hours to live. In my head, I'm like,
because it says by 8 hours, like you could get toxic shock syndrome.
And then in my head, I'm like, as soon as we tell these nurses what happened, they're gonna be like, let's get her to the emergency room. Let's get her out of here.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna be on a gurney.
Exactly. And then they're like, we're gonna need you to fill out this like
form,
fucking
and you have to do this
like,
and talk to this,
form and like all this shit. And then in my head, I'm like, she's gonna fucking die right now. I'm like, fuck your forms. And I was like, kind of being at this point, I was like,
so like,
I'm usually not trying to be rude, but I was like so frustrated because you're telling me you're gonna die any second, and I'm telling them like she's gonna die any second. Like I don't give a fuck about these forms. Like we'll fill them out on the way. Like we'll pay whatever. Just help her. And then And then they're not taking it. They're like, no, you got to fill out these forms. You got to do
They're
this.
like, I
blah, blah.
understand, sir.
And then also,
go stand outside.
Yeah, and then they're like, by the way, you can't even be in here. You have to stand outside.
And it was freezing cold.
And I was just like,
we're in our pajamas still.
I know, we're still in our pajamas, bruh.
Anyways, we fill out the form, whatever. Everything gets handled. And so I go wait for the doctor to come and examine me. She does the full exam.
Oh, God, this is the part that Adam didn't talk about. This is the detailed. She
doesn't find anything. And I say, no way, there's something in there. Like, I remember, I felt it with my hands, and I tried to pull it out, and it was coming out.
Or you thought so.
Or I thought so. And so she's like, okay, well, we can order you an ultrasound if that's, like, what you really want. But, like, I checked your whole area.
We have to pay for all this. I forgot.
Yeah, I have to check that.
Oh, my God. Okay, continue.
Anyways. So I was like, yep, run it up. Like, let's do the ultrasound. Like, I need this done.
Run up Yuri's credit card. No,
Come on, no.
I'm kidding.
Let's do it.
You had the insurance.
I have the insurance. So I wait for my ultrasound, come back to the ultrasound, have this camera shoved up in there. I got violated
if you guys
so
watched,
much.
We haven't got there yet, but if you guys watched the episode of King in the Hill where he couldn't poop for like a week, so they had to stick this long-ass camera
Wait, I want to tell
inside
the
his
story.
thing, and it's the same camera.
Okay,
I was gonna say it's the same camera from that episode.
Let's just explain the story so we can move on. Anyways,
yeah, I don't spend too much time on this.
Yeah, so the camera's in there, whatever. And I'm looking on the screen trying to like see if I can see anything, but she's like looking at me, looking at the screen, and so I ask her, I'm like, I keep saying like, sorry guys.
You ask her,
I was
is
like,
there anything in there?
Yeah, I asked her if anything was in there, and she's like, I can't explain that to you. Like, I'm not a doctor, blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
which I understand
like,
because
I've
dealt with
but
that
it's
before.
like,
there's people who are hired literally just to take the picture, and they don't know anything about the picture.
I get it. I get it.
That's how that
I get it. So I didn't go off on her or anything, but I was just like, damn, I wish you would just tell me something. And so after that, I was getting nervous, so I went to the bathroom, and I tried to feel for it again. I couldn't, I was still feeling it, so that's why I was like tripping out. And then I'm waiting in the waiting room. I was there for like 5 hours. I was there for a long time.
I had time to go home, roll a spliff, feed our cats, and like smoke. And I was worried the whole time, but there's nothing I can do. I can't wait in there. And the most I can do is wait in the parking lot, which is like I might as well just go home. Like we're not that far from home.
So then after the ultrasound, the nurse calls me, gets me, and he was just like, the ultrasound, like they found something, and I was like, thank God I fucking listened to my gut.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's when you called me.
That's when I called you. I was like, I knew it. They found something.
And
I fucking knew it.
Fuck, it's been in there for like hours
already.
I
was like, oh my God, I'm getting surgery right now. I'm gonna have emergency surgery.
That's what I thought. I was like, what is the doctor gonna have to do at this point? Like it's serious. Like.
And so I was like freaking out, and then I'm in that room and I'm just thinking about all these people who have been getting sick and like not having their people with them, you know?
Oh,
like just how scary it is.
We were talking about this last time, how people pass away and they can't have anyone near them, so they just die by themselves basically.
And
nowadays.
It's like I'm in there for like a stupid ass situation, but it's like thinking about that was just like making me super emotional and stuff. The lady comes back in, she's like, I'm gonna do another exam. The OB gave me some techniques to find it. I'm gonna try my best. If I can't find it again, like I'm gonna have him come down and he's gonna look. So she does.
How did he explain to her a technique within 10 minutes? Like
I don't know.
What the fuck?
Anyway,
okay.
She examines it again, and nothing was found, of course. So then he comes down like 30 minutes later, does the exam, and he was pretty much saying nothing's in there.
So at this point, 3 different people and a camera have.
Yeah, and he just said, I'm pretty confident with my search, and nothing's in there. He's like, I hate to say it, but maybe you were just thinking about it too much, and you thought you were feeling
honestly,
something.
Can I just say, I didn't say this in the beginning, but I remember.
And I know I know I'm a freak out.
That night, when you fell asleep, I stayed up that night playing either Rust or Zelda or some shit like that. But I was up that night until 2 or 3 in the morning playing a video game. And I remember in the middle of the night, you woke up to use the restroom. So I remember telling you like, hey, I think when you use the restroom in the middle of the night, you might have disposed of it and don't even remember it. Because sometimes when you wake up in the middle of the night, you don't even remember what you did.
And I don't remember that I woke up in the middle of the night.
So I was telling you did wake up in the middle of the night. That's probably what happened. You were like, no, I know something's in there, blah, blah. But
dude, that's crazy, though, that my mind was fucking with me that much. Every time I went up there, I thought I was feeling a fucking tampon.
Long story short,
there was no tampon in there. And I spent my whole day there.
And Adam was just like...
And I was violated by 3 different people.
Adam was like, is this a valid enough excuse for your employee to come in late? Is that his...
You're my support... You're my emotional
I thought you were going to die. Like, in my mind,
I really thought I was going to die, too. And then that's what I asked the last doctor. I was like, so what are you talking about? You found something on the ultrasound.
Yeah, exactly. No, but the thing is, they said it might be something.
He was like, they always have a lot of mix-ups with those, blah, blah, blah. I don't know.
So basically, that's
what happened.
Anyways,
that's what happened. Story. That was the full story.
Rylee's
Ended up not having anything stuck inside me. But that's what I thought happened.
And now we're going to have to pay for an ultrasound and all this.
3 different doctors.
Oh, my God, dude. Like, that's the opposite of prostitution. You're paying some...
Shut up. Ew. Okay. Why would you ever compare it to that?
I'm sorry.
Really? No shame, actually.
Oh, my God. Okay. Well, that's it. That was the story. And I feel like that's a valid excuse to come in late. I thought you were going to die.
I thought I was going to die, too.
Yeah. You were scaring me. I was like, bro.
I called my boss, too. I was like, Rachel.
Did you tell her why?
Yes, and she started laughing.
Oh, my God.
She's like, Rylee. She's like, I've heard of things happening like that.
I've never heard of that in my life. I didn't even, like, it's maybe because I'm a guy, but I've never heard of even worrying about that.
People have had sex with their tampons in.
Guys have it easy.
I know.
We don't have to do shit.
For real.
We just, like, go to sleep. We don't have to bleed ever, you know? Sometimes my balls get itchy, but that's about it. That's about as deep as my complications get with being a man, I think.
Well, that's the infamous tampon story.
To bring into another note that also talks about your job. Recently, we already told this whole story, so it's kind of weird to like tell the whole thing again. But recently, Rylee is a hairstylist, and she works at a salon, and because of COVID, like she's been doing this thing where her job is either they're not working, you know, for an extended amount of time, and then there was this moment where the government was like, oh, we're back open, and then her salon was working for like a couple weeks, and then the government was like, oh no, we're closing back down again, and then her shit closed back down, and then they reopened it again. So she was like on and off on this job, like not even knowing if this job is even going to continue because of COVID and stuff. And recently, when you were working there, you said that like some dude basically came in and he was checking for licenses. Long story short, you did not have your license on the wall, which legally you're required as a hairstylist to have your license on the wall. But because of COVID and going in and out, it's like you don't even know what the consistency is. It's like you don't even know if you should leave your license. Like no one even you also said no one even brought it up to you. They're like, oh, you should put your license on the wall. And then, anyways, the license ended up being expired as well, and then anyways that was all taken care of. But then you brought up a good point where you're like how is the government like going to hair salons nitpicking whether your license is on the wall or not? You know, it's just like,
or even that was expired, like it expired 2 months ago.
Exactly. It's like it's like I would understand,
and it's just you have to pay for it to get validating it.
It's like, it's not like you lost your skill all of a sudden. Yeah. And like I understand going to food places to make sure everything's up in order and everything's like healthy and not disgusting.
The cleanliness.
Yeah, cleanliness part of it. But like if you're having government workers come in to like nitpick all these like over these little things, but then if you pay attention to like any type of news that like a lot of public news talk about this, especially in big cities where the homeless problem right now is getting out of control because of COVID. The government or the police are not allowed to relocate people because you're supposed to stay in one space. Like you're supposed to like, you know, shelter up in one spot. So wherever the homeless people have a spot, they have to stay there for as long as the pandemic is. And because of this, a lot of the freeways, and like there's a lot of videos about this on YouTube, where a lot of the freeways and a lot of the big places, especially in downtown Skid Row, have just been getting out of control with trash piling up, people building shelters, ditching the shelters, building another one. There's just like all this trash all over the city right now. And like they're sending people to nitpick over fucking like whether your license is on the wall, but they're not like cleaning up the freeways and making sure that there's, you know, like not disease and rats and like all this shit spreading through our city. Like that, I found that very hypocritical, and that was like a good point to bring up. It's like hella weird.
Even after watching German Venice's videos about homeless people, I remember going to Venice Beach when I was, I think, maybe a freshman in college, and I did not see one homeless person like that. Like,
really?
Maybe I saw a couple homeless people, but like I didn't see how the camps were. You know how it was like?
Yeah, it's like
a
was
whole
never
community.
like that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's trippy to see how much it's grown over the course of like 5 years, maybe less.
Literally over the span of the COVID, a year and a half, because ever since they said that rule that you can't make people transport, you know, like move places, they've just kept all their shit in one place.
It's really sad. It's just like, and I like when I'm driving to work and stuff, and I see like random homeless people like straight up tweaking and like out of their mind. It makes me sick to my stomach that people like let people just like this on the street. They need like mental help in a fucking institution or something.
Well, apparently, I don't know too much about this, but apparently during the 70s,
she's gonna get fucking taken advantage of. Like I saw a girl, 100%. A lady, literally out of her mind.
You see that
it was
a lot.
Sick.
Yeah,
and it was so. I just felt so bad for her because I'm just like, she's so out of her mind. She could get so easily taken advantage of other homeless men that just are
who are a little bit more. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like they can't say no. Yeah, almost because of their condition.
Because she's disabled almost.
You know what's crazy though is like I heard that back in the 70s and 80s there was hella mental facilities that would like house these people, and there's a lot of documentaries about how shady they are, and they would like kind of do like these kind of shady things, but there was a lot of facilities that would house like the mentally like ill people, and there was not that much homeless people in LA. And then I forgot what year, but in some sort of year, I think Kennedy was the president, or I forgot who the president was, but they closed down all the mental facilities in like the whole United States. And then that's when these people basically have nowhere to go, you know what I mean? Like they're too mentally disabled to want to go to a homeless shelter, so they just stay on the street, and then it just like they have nowhere to go. Basically, it's like fucked up. There's no government plan for them, you know, or like helping organization for them, other than giving them clothes and food.
It's like, what's the move for that? What can we do? Like, what could people do to help with this shit?
People talk about it all the time. At this point,
what's the plan?
There's to help one. Like I think about this before. I've thought about this before too, where if you meet a person, right, who has suffered through like certain traumatic shit in their life, and then like they're dealing with all this stuff, and you dedicate, you know, you're wealthy enough and free enough, and like you have no responsibilities, obligations that hold you back from helping this person with your full time. To help one person like completely change their life around will take so many years and like so much work and like hands-on dedication. To do that for every single person that's on the street is like, that's impossible. You know, there's not enough. There's like just not enough resources.
It's just like people who are really like out of it like that, they should not be walking around on the streets.
It's scary, right?
It's super scary.
And people talk about it all the time how people joke about it, how in downtown is like the only place probably in the United States where you can pay $4,000 or $5,000 for an apartment and then leave your apartment door, and a homeless man's gonna throw shit in your face.
San Diego's
that can
bad
literally happen. You know, like you're gonna be like, what the fuck?
I thought San Francisco was bad, but when I moved to San Diego, it was so bad down there, and I guess that's where most homeless people live because it's so warm most of the time.
There's it's funny.
And they get sent to San Francisco if they get out of hand.
Really?
In San Diego, yeah. There's like buses that go straight to San Francisco.
Specifically
for homeless people.
That's interesting. I saw this. South Park did this episode about homeless people a long time ago, where they basically said that any homeless people in the country, whenever they want a place they can just chill all year round, they go to Venice Beach. And even like when South Park made this episode, it was the early 2000s. So even during the early 2000s, Venice was known for a lot of homeless people. But now it's like times 100. Yeah, even back then it was bad, but now it's like even way crazier and worse than it ever was. So yeah, it's fucking crazy, dude.
I know. His videos are crazy because it looks like
the German in Venice.
Yes, German in Venice videos. It looks like the San Diego boardwalk almost, where I took you that one time, and just with hella tents pitched up.
And it sucks because it's like like what is the government really going to do? They're just going to relocate them so that area looks nicer. But then where are they going to go? They're going to go to another place and suffer there. It's like you really need some sort of, and it sucks because there's really no companies that really work nonprofit. There has to be some sort of profit involved. Like you have to find some sort of profitable business that like really helps the homeless people. And then, but then I don't know. I watched this video the other day. I think you were asleep or something like that, but CBS 7 News like posted this like whole 20 or 30 minute documentary about the homeless problem in LA, and it's a recent documentary, and they talk about how there's hella companies that profit from helping the homeless people, and if they fix the homeless problem, these companies go out of business, and then hella people lose their jobs, and then these CEOs don't make $1 million a year anymore. So they actually profit from homeless people being in LA. So there's like, because of the problem already, there's all these organizations, like probably already more than 100 that actually profit from helping homeless people. And if there's no more homeless people, they won't have jobs, and these companies are going to go out of business. So now they're almost incentivized to have homeless people. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, exactly. So like that's where the shade comes in, where they talk about whether they are actually trying to help them or.
That makes fucking a lot of sense.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, definitely. That's insane. It is really sad though. I hate looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
But it just like, yeah, it's like, what can you do unless you have literally a crew of 50,000 fucking therapists who you can pay to help out 50,000 people.
I know.
That's like that's the best you can do. You know what I mean? Like, but there's no one can afford that. That's like literally ridiculous. Not just therapists, 50,000 therapists, 50,000 housing plans or some shit like that. It would get ridiculous.
What's your next talk?
My next topic, I was gonna say to move on to something more positive, but it's actually not that positive.
It's so depressing.
This is a little bit. This is also another depressing issue.
True.
Is the All Gas No Breaks YouTube channel. For a lot of people, I'm not sure how many people who watch me know about this, but it's a very, very popular YouTube channel. It's like,
I love it.
World Star Hip Hop has reposted their clips hella times. Like they've gone, that YouTube channel has gone viral like many times. There's a YouTube channel called All Gas No Breaks. It's run by this guy. I forgot his name. I don't know the dude's name who runs it. Not runs it. The dude who's the camera, the face of the camera. But it's like this like white nerdy looking guy who he looks like Napoleon Dynamite almost. Basically, it's this like Napoleon Dynamite looking character who goes around doing interviews, and it's the funniest videos.
He'll go to crazy places, like the craziest places.
He'll go to Trump rallies,
different
and then like
events.
The way he edits it is like to basically clown the people there, and it's so funny. He just makes people look so crazy and like ridiculous and like
show their true colors, but it's like
almost exactly.
In a heart, it's just I don't know. It's just like in a funny ass way.
It's almost like it's like weird. It's like just like seeing it and just being like, what the fuck?
There's real people out here like this.
Exactly.
Like damn.
It really trips you out.
If you haven't seen it, go watch him. He's
Rylee
funny
and I
as
have
fuck.
gone on like
you'll get addicted.
2 hour like runs just watching every fucking episode back to back. But recently, All Gas No Breaks posted something explaining that he was a small YouTuber with this plan of he already wrote a book, right, or something like that. He wrote a book called All Gas No Breaks, and he had this plan of doing this YouTube channel, but he didn't have the money to not work and do this full time, get a van, like all the equipment that involves, because you have to have like it's like hella, it's probably thousands of dollars of equipment to just to do this video every day, and you also have to not be able to work. That's the biggest problem, is like you have to deal with a full-time job and do a YouTube video. So he got some investors to invest into his plan, and he said he signed a contract without reading the contract too deeply, and basically the contract is like they own everything, and he's just the guy on camera, and he was getting paid as the guy on camera for a while, and I guess he was happy with it. But recently they started a podcast, the All Gas No Breaks podcast, where they've interviewed
Break Check or something like that.
That's what it's called. They've interviewed Steve-O and like all these big, so they've done like a lot of big celebrities so far. I think they did Draco too.
They did Draco.
They did Draco as soon as he got out of jail, or he did Draco as soon as he got out of jail. And then he posted this story recently saying that he had some disagreements with that company. He realized that he signed the shitty contract where he has like no creative freedom. They own everything. And then he basically just like left the company. But in him leaving, he like leaves all of his they own all of his content that he produced. They like, he can't do anything with that anymore. He can't even repost on his Instagram because they could probably even they could sue him if they wanted. And like he can't own any of the viral content he produced, and he has nothing to do with that YouTube channel, All Gas No Breaks. But he's gonna start his own. YouTube channel, is what he said, basically.
I feel like he's gonna have obviously the same followers and stuff.
Yeah.
But it just sucks that he has to give up his original name. Like, he started that story a long ass time ago, and he has to give that name up.
I feel like this hasn't gone that viral. Like, no one's really talked about it yet. But once Keemstar and Phil DeFranco talk about this, I feel like this is a big enough deal where they're gonna want to talk about this. This is like kind of fucked up, you know. But you're right. It's like, he's the reason why we watch All Gas No Breaks is because of the editing and because of him. You know, it's like,
he's funny.
Now the editor has left and he has left. It's like, what do they expect to do with his YouTube channel? What are they going to post on there? They're going to find another Napoleon Dynamite? It's like,
and
no.
Of course they're going to be petty and not let him have it.
They're so stupid. It's like, we were talking about this, how it would have been more beneficial for them to be like, hey, let's renegotiate your contract. Let's pay you more. Let's give you more creative freedom so you stay with us.
They should have gave him total creative freedom.
Exactly. But I don't know what he didn't say really much.
He already had the vision.
Yeah, exactly.
That people loved it.
He thought of everything.
Exactly.
That was all his idea.
So they're going to regret it, obviously.
Exactly. It would be really interesting to see what happens to them. I think I told you about this where I was watching this. There's a really popular YouTube channel, or it was popular, called Concrete, where it was this guy called Ben Mala. He's like this millionaire real estate investor, and he hooked up with this vlogger guy who had experience like vlogging and editing videos, and they were making these sick ass videos where he would talk about all his investment properties and he would flex all his money that he got. And he was like, it was a really funny YouTube channel. It would get like minimum 200, 300,000 views, like sometimes 1 million, 2 million views. It was a really popping YouTube channel. And then they also had some disagreements where they both split up. The dude, the vlogger dude, owned Concrete, so he continued owning Concrete, and Ben Mala separated to do his own thing. And now both of their YouTube channels aren't successful. Concrete now gets like 10,000, 20,000 views maximum, and then Ben Mala also, like, I haven't even seen any of his videos like at all. So it's just like, they separated. Now there's nothing produced at all. It's like, just negotiate a better contract.
Stop being petty.
I know.
Stop being narrow-minded.
You guys would have both been more successful if you just negotiated a better contract.
That's what the ego does, honey.
But this seems more one-sided. It seems like they fucked him over more than more like they.
It's his thing.
Exactly.
Come on, people.
So that's fucked up. But it's like, dude, he's gonna start a new.
I wonder what their vision was, like what they wanted him to do.
Well,
what they wanted him to change.
They invested in his vision.
But he was saying that they were trying to change him up, right? Kinda, in a way.
I don't remember that.
I think that's what he was kind of implying.
Oh, really?
Because he wasn't having any creative freedom anymore.
I also wonder if he was like starting to realize, like, my YouTube videos get 1 million views, but then every month they get another addition 1 million views, and then there's like a monthly check that comes in that he's not seeing, and he's like probably getting paid only one time to make that one video. So he's probably like, I'm missing out on a ton of money, and like, I wonder what creative restrictions he had too, you know? So
yeah, they should definitely have worked something out.
Yeah, they fucked up for sure. Did you have any other topics written?
I was gonna talk about the royal wedding shit, the royal family stuff that's been happening. I want to watch the interviews before I talk about it.
I have something to add to that though. Can we talk about it a little bit?
Okay.
What were you gonna say?
I don't know, because I just heard it's been crazy.
They're in the news right now, right?
Yeah, I've been listening to a little bit on podcasts, but I want to watch it for myself.
And guess what I've been seeing? I only see small.
Apparently, they were living with Tyler Perry.
Yeah. What I've been seeing, and I only see small Instagrammers posting this, is the fact that this is going super viral, that the royal family, it's like from UK or Britain or something that. Yeah. They're going through this drama because one of the wives is like, it's just like hell, I don't even want to explain it. It's just like hell fucking drama involving the royal family, and it's going super viral. Everyone's talking about it, but you know what people stopped talking about? Is in the Epstein documentary where they exposed Epstein, one of the people that they got concrete evidence on for fucking little girls that Epstein hooked them up with was the fucking dude, Prince Edward from the royal family.
And that's probably
and he's not in jail.
Exactly,
no one's talking about him. And
that's what this girl is coming out with. She was saying all these people were creepy and the family and shit.
They're all being very like molesty or like kind of.
I don't think that's the whole premise, but I think she was kind of saying shit like that. Like there's a lot of creepy guys within the family.
The thing I've been saying is that they're using her story to cover up. They're using one smaller drama story that's like, you know, it's a big deal but not that big of a deal, to cover up this bigger drama story that the Prince Edward is like was fucking little girls with fucking Epstein, and he's in the documentary. There's photo evidence of the girls he got massages from, quote unquote. Ew. And there's photos of him and like little girls and Epstein together, and no one's fucking talking about it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so weird.
I don't know. We have to watch it so we can actually give our opinion.
But us watching it is them distracting us.
Then we can see through the bullshit. I can see through
well, it would be interesting just to see this little story and see if they
what if they don't even.
What if they don't even bring him up at all? I'll be so suspicious if they don't. But
we don't even know anything about Prince Edward, whatever his name is.
I know he fucks little girls.
I don't know anything about him.
I know he's a pedo. I don't know anything about him either.
So I need to look more. I need to do research. I can't speak on anything until we do research.
All right, not for the Kiki one, but for the next 10 talks, we'll do some deeper digging.
What else did you put down on your list?
What else did I put? Let's see. I put the H3 Seth situation.
Okay.
And honestly, this is something that we were trying to avoid talking about because apparently if you even talk about it, you're not validating, certain accusations. But I don't feel like that's the case because I was watching the H3 podcast and they were going through the Scotty video. And like one thing that I also wanted to bring up that I completely forgot to bring up is H3 does this thing where whenever he has a disagreement with someone, he did this with Scotty, he did this with James Charles, he did this with every fucking person that he's been canceling the past month and a half. He's done this with every single person where he's like, foot soldiers, go lower their score on foot, that foot Wikipedia, WikiFeet or whatever. Yeah, he says like go lower the score on WikiFeet, and honestly, yeah, that's not that big of a deal. It's funny, it's a joke or whatever, but he's acting as if that his hundreds of thousands of viewers, he gets like 1 million views on each thing, his at least 100,000 people are going to interact with that calling, at least 10%, probably maybe a little bit less or whatever, but you're acting as if they're only going to affect the WikiFeet score. They're gonna go to Scotty's page and be like, fuck you, you're this, you're that, blah 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 blah. It's like, but YouTube specifically has a rule where you can't tell your audience to go like, hey, I'm having a disagreement with Rylee, everyone go spam Rylee with hate. I can get my YouTube channel terminated for doing that. But H3 does this all the fucking time. He always, and like it's almost like he covers it up saying go attack their WikiFeet, but that immediately they get attacked with other shit. And Keemstar brought this up in his recent Drama Alert video where he's like, where Ethan was like, oh, Scotty posted this video, and then Scotty was getting a bunch of hate, and Scotty posted an apology video. Well, then Keemstar was like, no, what happened was Scotty posted a video bringing some evidence to the table, which is the fact that Seth
agreed.
Not only agreed, but he asked again, like, hey, I'm cool with the video. Can we do another one as long as I get clouted up? He specifically says in the video or the audio recording, he's like, as long as you clout me up. So it's just like, clout is obviously like a motive for this guy, you know what I mean, like of some sort, where he's like willing to do this, and then he's like asking to do a third video, and then in Keemstar's video he basically says that like Scotty posts his video and then Ethan sends his followers to send him hate, and then this fool has like hella dislikes, hella hate comments, and then he posts this apology video. So it's like, I bet you all the hate that Scotty was getting, most of it's probably from the H3 army. I'm not sure, this is speculation, but that's what it feels like. And that's why he posted that apologies, because he's like, oh my god, all of a sudden I'm getting 100,000 people telling me I'm a shitty person.
Oh, he posted an apology?
Yeah, he did. Oh. And he basically said, like, I'm sorry, like, I don't want to invalidate anyone's claims. Like, he basically, just like said sorry, But it's like nowadays.
I believe Trisha. I think Jason was an asshole to Trisha.
Yeah, well, I definitely believe Jason was a weirdo, but I don't believe that, I feel like they're making it a big deal where if you talk shit about the situation, it's
a little fishy.
You're invalidating his like certain charges or certain claims that other people have made or whatever in the past. But I feel like he joined that one thing where he did like I'm still a man protest with that one actor dude or whatever. He like joined a protest with this other actor guy who actually did suffer a real traumatic event where he was actually sexually molested. Seth joined this guy for some sort of like talk, and then I feel like that might even invalidate that claim because Seth is joining it, where I feel like Seth is not completely, trustworthy. But I'm not exactly sure. That's why it's like
it's so hard to like
you can't
talk
even
about
say
because you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know, but
exactly what's going down behind the scenes.
But everyone is avoiding the additional evidence, which is that Seth asked to do a third one.
Yeah. Which is like we heard them.
In my mind, if I was, and I've actually done videos before where I've filmed multiple videos, and I'm like, I don't like doing that for my vlogs, and I'm not going to do that anymore.
And I feel like if a girl were to go to court and she said the same thing, like, yeah, I give you permission to have sex with me, they would use that against her and she would get invalidated. Even if it was a girl.
That's true. But it's just like, if it was that big of, I don't know. I feel like when they're saying that like, oh, when you suffer through something like that, you most likely go back to your abuser and you like try to, it's like there's like these like mental things that you go through where you actually think you're cool with your abuser and you're not, and there's like these mental things that you can't avoid that you kind of go through.
Which is a whole different thing.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like that usually applies to people in like long-term relationships not like a vlogging group, you know what I mean? Like,
it's just too tough to talk about, I feel like.
And that's why we avoided talking about it, which is like, even now us talking about it, we're like just jumping on like
because then it's like, fuck, then you have to think about this and then you think about that,
I just don't want people
which is wrong and
attacking me.
And it's like there is some things that are wrong about it.
Yeah, the main
I
thing
always
is
felt like David was kind of mean.
I definitely agree that
like he would just got away with being an asshole all the time, especially to like Jonah and shit.
The main thing people compare the Vlog Squad to is Jackass, and the big difference between Jackass and the Vlog Squad is Jackass is a crew of dudes who are all basically on the same level of tier in this company, all get all know how much each other's getting paid. But then in the Vlog Squad, it's one guy who has all the clout and power, and then like if you happen to come in front of his camera, like he has the control whether you become successful or not. So like that's the difference in power, and you know what I mean? Like,
and that's not okay.
Exactly, and that's where it becomes not okay or whatever. And there's like many videos where it shows what's that dude Jonah?
Both sides are wrong for sure.
Who's that dude Jonah? Who's like kind of the overweight guy who's always like kind of hurting himself. And he's always just
being an asshole to him, hella rude to him.
There's many videos where he's vlogging, he like it's like behind the scenes footage of David vlogging, and Jonah gets fucking hella hurt or mangled, and he's just like, fuck dude, like complaining about pain, and Dave was just like, oh dude, are you okay? We're gonna have to do another one. He's just like not even worried that his homie's fucked up, and he's just like worried about the vlog at that point.
I've always thought that was a little weird.
It's like, I'm not trying to say that David's not a sketchy person. I'm just trying to say that, like, I don't know, why are people avoiding the additional evidence that's brought to the table, which is kind of damning in my eyes. You're asking to do the same video again that you complained about,
and you said exactly what you wanted out of it.
And yeah, exactly. And it's not even like it's within a couple weeks span. There was like a couple months span where he had time to think about it, time to think about the consequences, time to think about what the last two videos did to him, and then he still was like, hey, can we do another video? But for clout though, I want the clout. If we do this video, like he mentioned it, it's like, that's the interesting part.
That is evil.
The fucking clout demons.
Do anything clout.
You know what this reminds me of? Since we're talking about hate comments and trying to avoid them.
Oh my God, this is perfect.
Exactly, what a good transition. Recently, No Jumper Instagram posted this thing saying Joe Biden has approved the $1,400 a month, and like it was like a partying emoji or whatever. And then I commented like, they originally promised $2,000, and then they were like, oh, sorry, it's not gonna be $2,000, it's gonna be $1,600, and then now it's approved, it's $1,400. And then I was just like, now they're giving us $1,400 even though they promised $2,000. That's okay, whatever, that's one thing. But then we haven't received any other stimulus checks for like months now, you know what I mean? Like, and then like and that's basically what I'm trying to point out, like, is that if you look at the Canadian government, and I have like many Canadian friends who tell me that they've been receiving monthly checks. Like I have like multiple friends who like are in Canada, they've been affected by COVID, and then the government is successfully taking care of their citizens where they're giving them monthly checks. These people are able to pay their bills because your bills aren't due every 6 months. Your bills are due every fucking month. You know what I mean? So it's just like, and then also, so anyways, I posted this comment. I got like, I don't know, 80 plus likes on it. Hella people agreed. And also, if you scroll through the comments, many people were posting the same shit, saying what I'm saying is that like, it seems like the government is doing something nice for us. But if you really think about it and look at all the facts, number one, Biden kind of weaseled his way into giving us $600 less. He's promised $2,000, but then I don't want to go into the details, but if you look into the details, they weaseled their way into paying $600 less because the Trump administration is what paid us the original $600. They promised us $2,000, and then they're like, hey, we actually gave you guys $600 a couple months ago. We're just going to give you the rest of the $1,400. But no, that $600 didn't come back from your administration. That came from the Trump administration. So you're supposed to give us whatever you promised is going to come from your administration. So that's where like the weaseling comes in. And then so anyways, I posted that. A lot of people were posting similar things. And then I started getting hella comments going, you're ungrateful. Just give me your $1,400 if you don't want it. You've been lucky enough to work during the whole pandemic and you're complaining about free money. And it's like, my point is not to complain about receiving free money. My point is to like look past the fucking veil that they're putting in front of you that like, oh, we're helping you. It's like, no. You guys have been fucking up for months. You guys have been fucking up this whole pandemic, and then now you kind of
think this is going to be just
you think
okay.
This is going to help. Like, imagine for a person who actually lost their full-time job during the pandemic has to rely on these fucking checks.
Has kids,
hella kids, and has to rely on these checks. It's like no jobs. What do you exactly? What
Mom
do you
and dad,
bro? And that's what I'm speaking for. Is like
exactly.
when I posted that comment, I'm not trying to post that comment from a privileged position saying I want more money. It's like I'm posting that comment saying that we're all getting fucked over, and I'm getting fucked over the least. And people are getting fucked over even less than me, but there's people that are really suffering right now, and the government is not producing any help. And then this is kind of like, here you go, like type shit, like take this. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucked up.
And already at that point, they say it's too much for them to give us.
Yeah, exactly. And you know
like,
what's
this
funny?
Is too hard, like of a thing to agree on.
You saw the Biden meme, right? They're calling him Moneybag Joe Biden or whatever, because they're like, Joe Biden just signed this $3 trillion deal. Everyone's getting money. It's like, no, everyone's getting $1,400. If you have kids, you're gonna get a little bit more.
It's the most we've gotten, though.
It's the most we've gotten, but
I voted for you.
Yeah, shout out to Joe Biden, I guess, but. It's still I feel like it's like a slap in the face almost. If you pay
it does suck that we didn't get what they're getting in Canada and stuff, especially for the people who have both mom and dad that are out of work and there's a lot of kids and mouths to feed. Like that fucking sucks.
Not just Canada. There's like many other countries that smaller countries, you know, if like obviously, but there's a lot of other countries that have done a way better job of helping their citizens during this whole pandemic. And that's what I was trying to say. But if you go to that post on No Jumper, and I'm getting tons of people going, you're fucking ungrateful, fuck you, and shit like that. And I'm like, dude, that's not the point, bro. That's not the point I'm trying to say. The point is they're not doing what they actually should be doing. You know, that's the point I was trying to make.
And that's what happens when you talk about politics.
But you know what this reminds me of is we had Cam Girl come to our house the other day. Huge shout out to Cam Girl. She stopped by. She saw the tent talk set up, even though it's a complete mess. Looks like a hurricane went through there.
So embarrassed that it was disgusting in there.
We've had crazy weather. It's been raining and stuff and crazy wind. And I put this pot of flowers outside in the tent talks place where we film outside in our place or whatever. The flowers fell over. The vase broke. All this fucking shit. It looks like a hurricane went through there. And Cam Girl stopped by that day when the house is a complete mess or whatever. But you know what she brought up that kind of made me think about this is she's like usually hip hop audiences are a little bit more negative compared to EDM or like, you know, other music genre audiences. And I kind of agree with that, where if you listen to EDM and like a lot of other music, like, you know, that what's that one girl, Gieza, you know, where she's like dancing to the street, that one song I play.
I forgot what her name is.
I forgot her name too. It's like Jazz or something like that. Like, it's all super positive vibes music. You know what I mean? And it's like, if you listen to hip hop, it's like, fuck this fool, I make money, fuck you guys, blah blah. So it's like, it kind of makes sense that in certain genres of music, like a negative attitude and a positive attitude would be portrayed. And I kind of did realize that there, where I was like, I'm trying to speak for everyone here. I'm trying to speak for the people, you know, versus the government, and I'm getting shit for it.
Well, that's just people just being not listening to the deeper.
What's even more embarrassing about it is I haven't done this since like 2017, but I have not responded back and forth in the comments section this much.
I was like, why are you talking to all these people like
I haven't done this in years, but
God.
and you know what's even the worst part is like, I always do this in the mornings. I always wake up, go to my phone, see something, be like, what the fuck? And like,
That's
fucking,
not a good way to start your day.
exactly. And then I'll post it and then I'll see someone reply and they'll be like, no, this is what's actually going on. And then they reply and they'll be like, okay,
We
bro.
need to do yoga or
and the next thing you
something in
know,
the
I'm like,
morning.
bro, why am I doing? And I stop replying to all the comments because there's too many to keep up with. But I'm just like, bro,
Not worth it.
not worth it. And also they're not even understanding the point I'm trying to make. And
Yeah.
also through a text message it's very difficult to
Understand the tone.
like express your position. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah,
way
and then
easier to do
tone
it.
gets fucked up.
Your tone gets fucked up, and it's like way easier to say it over person. And
not
I
what
can't
you say,
call
it's how
every
you
single
say
person
it.
replying. So,
It's not what you say, it's how you say it, and that gets fucked up all the time through text. So,
but also, you know what I realized?
because I could say I love you, and it could be like I love you, or I love you,
Yeah.
or I love you.
I know exactly.
You know?
Have you ever heard the term though? Don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt. I was like, this has to come from I just can't fucking say this, I guess. I don't know, dude. It has to come from someone else. I just can't talk about this shit.
Yeah. Testy waters.
You know what else I want to talk about? I didn't
What?
have written down topics, but recently at the end of the day, on Wednesday on No Jumper, they had Crispy, Life Kid. Huge shout out to
Shout out
Crispy.
to Crispy.
And they had I Swear Vezo. And I've
Shout out to
listened to I
Vezo.
Swear Vezo's music, but I've never watched any interviews. I never heard him like talk. You know, I've listened to his music and that's it. And I was listening to the At the End of the Day podcast, and I was like, this guy is very wisdom filled. Like, I like the way he was putting stuff. Like, it was very interesting, you know?
Yeah, he seems very smart.
And he made me think about something where they were talking about Pepe Le Pew, where for the new, what's it called?
Space Jam
movie, Space Jam 2. They've done all these adjustments where Lola Bunny is not as sexy or seductive anymore,
Doesn't
apparently.
wear, like this sexy outfit.
Yeah, she doesn't wear like showing off outfits. She still has the same body figure, I think, but she just
Yeah.
has like more baggy clothes or something like that. And then they also got rid of Pepe Le Pew, which is, for anyone who's like a little bit younger, it's like this cartoon from back in the day, from like the early
skunk.
when Disney cartoon days. It's like a skunk who's every
Tunes.
episode is like, yeah, from the Looney Tunes days. Every episode he's trying to get this girl, but he's being too aggressive, and he never succeeds in getting the girl because the girl's like, you're being too aggressive,
You're
you're being
creepy.
a weirdo, you're being a creep. So he never gets his way. But there's all these like little storylines that happen that make it funny. But if you watch the cartoon, basically the moral of the story is that if you're a creep, you don't get the girl, you know? And like, and he brought it up, and I swear Vezo said that like, he's like, modern media is promoting not having an unconfident person, you know what I mean? Like, I forgot what he said.
Promoting insecure
Insecurity,
people,
yeah,
or
like-
insecurities.
Insecurities, exactly. And I thought about that. I was like, that's true. Like, if you look at some of the old best cartoons and like movies, it's like a person born into a world where they look around at everyone around them and they realize that everyone's doing or acting incorrectly or immorally, and then they're just like, guys, stop, like everything's wrong, and then they somehow change the world around them, and it's about a person speaking out for what they see is better, and a person having confidence and and also in the movies and cartoons they would make mistakes, like from their
It's a
confidence.
lesson.
Yeah, they'd be overconfident and make mistakes and stuff like that. And so you realize that a lot of older cartoons are about teaching kids, like showing them lessons, like this person is evil, this person is good, and it shows you who to emulate and who you want to not be like, And Pepe Le Pew is definitely one of those people who they portrayed as a guy who you don't want to be like. He
Yeah.
doesn't get the girls, he's stinky. And yeah, he's stinky, like he's a fucking skunk, he's a stinky fucking perv, like basically
Yeah.
that's it. And they got rid of him because basically with PC culture nowadays, they're saying that it's promoting being a aggressive, creepy dude. But if you really think about it, it's like it's lessons against being an aggressive, creepy dude. It's like showing kids that every episode, again and again, this guy's
if
too
you
aggressive.
act like that, you're not gonna get the
You're
girl.
not gonna get the girl. And then in your mind, you're like, as a kid, you're like, I'm not gonna be aggressive. I'm gonna be more like this, So it's really weird.
Yeah,
How are kids gonna learn their lessons nowadays?
I know. That's how. Yeah, that's exactly how you learned it, through watching TV. SpongeBob, you probably learned so many lessons through SpongeBob,
And
and you didn't even know it.
Exactly. And also, I don't know if you know this, but there's like a legal law that says especially on broadcast television, if you're gonna make a kid show, you can't just make a kid show about like anything.
Like a King of the Hill.
The kid show has to have a lesson.
Well, that's not a kid show.
It is kind of, but basically there's like a law. It's like a written law. I'm not sure if it's just in California, but every show, like especially a kid show, has to have a lesson. Like I think it's specifically for kid shows, but it has to be educational. You can't just make like SpongeBob's fucking like, catching jellyfish all day. It has to also like as an older person, if you pay attention and watch like kid shows, every episode has a lesson. Every episode's like, don't do this, do like, it's like stuff like that. So it sucks, kids aren't going to be able to learn from Pepe Le Pew anymore.
I liked Pepe.
I'll let our kid watch Pepe Le Pew.
The old schools.
Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry was cool. Cat Dog. That's.
Are you gonna want to watch the Tom and Jerry movie?
Coming out?
They're coming out with a movie, like it's like them in real life, but it's like a cartoon. They're still cartoons, but it's them like they'll be filming a video and they'll like animate them in type shit. It's like animated video or like real like film type shit.
I'm down if you're down.
I'm down, but I've watched Tom and Jerry from the original days when they were violent towards each other. They would hit each other. They would smoke cigarettes and all this stuff. So this is gonna be such a politically correct, dumbed down, fucking filtered version of Tom and Jerry. It might not even be enjoyable. That's what I'm kind of worried about.
I don't know. That sounds kind of weird. I feel like Tom and Jerry, you can't recreate Tom and Jerry like that.
Well, yeah, it's already been, they don't even show it to kids anymore.
No.
It's been canceled. It's too violent, apparently.
Well, they did that with Sonic, too, and there was a lot of weirdness with that.
Really? Oh, yeah, no. It wasn't about that. It was about how it looked. His eyes or how he looked. Which is so insane. That's the first time I've ever seen that happen with the movie, where they make a movie, they've already finished the movie, they've gone to the point where they're making Instagram promotions and fucking TV commercials, and then that's when the audience is like, we don't like how he looks, change everything.
Yeah.
Bro, that is so insane. Like that, I can't even, like, it's almost like Shane, like it's almost like us, No Jumper making a documentary that took a year to film, because it takes years to fucking animate these videos. A year, it's like making a documentary that takes a year to film, and then we edit the video. We're super proud of the video. Someone makes an Instagram edit. We make an Instagram edit saying like documentary coming out soon, and they're like, Trevor's head looks weird. Like, what the hell? Change Trevor's head, and it's like, okay, we're gonna have to go back to all the shit that we just edited. Board. Yeah, exactly. And like change how he looks the whole. Oh my God, dude, that's insane.
I know.
That's so much work. Like, I feel so bad for the editors.
Dude, and it happened right when COVID happened.
Really?
Yeah, like that's when movie theaters started getting shut down.
I know. They did all this work just for the movie not to come out.
Come out in theaters. It never came out in theaters.
Honestly, for the editors, it was a lot of it was a ton of extra work, but all the people that worked on the movie got paid, but it's the investors who got fucked over at that point. They're like, fuck.
Damn.
We just did all this work double.
The Sonic scam.
And then
dun dun dun.
Yeah, honestly, that could be an interesting YouTube documentary about like how bad of a fail that was. But maybe, I'm not sure if it was successful or not.
I think my niece watched it.
Yeah, I feel like everyone still watched it. I wanted to watch it. We never watched it though.
Sonic.
Did you ever play Sonic though?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah, I don't really remember. But you think we should wrap it up because I have to really pee.
Oh my God, you have the smallest bladder in the world. But okay, yeah, I feel like we've hit the hour mark, and also this is a surprise episode. And also we're not gonna do the after show today. We're gonna I'm gonna do a separate stream later on today on Twitch, on my Twitch account, Harmonious Man, and I'm gonna be playing the Zelda game later on tonight. I said I was gonna do this last night, but she made me fall asleep.
No,
so
I did not.
I'm gonna do that tonight, but we're gonna go eat dinner and chill for a second. But huge shout out and thank you to every single person who joined the stream today, who joined this random episode of 10 Talks. And Doga's right. We did not want to do this on Friday, so it would not be Friday the 13th episode. Maybe a fucking light would have fell on our head or something like that. But thank you to every single person who joined the stream. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, if you guys have gone to this point in the video, right? Rylee has a small bladder. In the comments, if you got to this point in the fucking the podcast, right? Rylee has a small bladder, so we know that you're a diehard viewer and made it to the end. Thank you guys so much. Please do not forget to leave a like and comment. It really helps the podcast. I hope you guys have a good night and peace.
Thank you for watching.
Hold on, I have to go to